Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready. Nuclear missile ready.
Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the playoffs of Season 7 of the Alpha X Junior Championships, right here on twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. My name is Rusty, and we've got a good one in store for you today. We are going to be wrapping up the playoffs and Season 7 of the Junior Championships. Some of our finest players below the age of 15 competing to continue to give themselves a little bit of exposure as they prepare for the world of top-tier StarCraft 2 action. But before we get into our games, we're going to be jumping in and doing a bit of an interview with our players before they get in and start playing. So we're going to be jumping into that in just a moment. We've got some fun games, a PvP and a PvT in store for you on both accounts. We'll get to know a little bit more about the players here very, very soon. But we are going to be jumping into the interviews in just one moment. Our interview is going to be started by Miguel. So he's going to be taking it away and getting us into a solid position to learn a little bit more about our players and how they feel going into today's matches. All four of these players did advance from their individual groups last weekend. Arog Fire and Exo Striker coming out first and second in Group A, and Wannabe, Beyond, and Slycraft.
Hello guys, is everyone
but here
ready?
we are. We're going to get our interview
the
started.
The English stream. Russia, are you here?
Hello, we are here.
Hello, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we are here, Arog Fire and Slycraft are two Protosses for the first match between the Ukrainian player. Hello, Slycraft, are you here?
Hi.
And the French one, Arog Fire, who won last season. So my first question, Arog Fire, will be for you. You won last season. You obviously want to make a second win in a row. How do you feel for these playoff today?
Don't know that much. We say I can take it, but I think I can lose also. So don't know.
Okay. And well, same question for you, Slycraft. You came back from a long break, right? We saw you in season 1 in 2019, and you're back this season, and you make a really great performance, beating especially Ghosty. How do you feel right now? And do you think you can win? You will win? What are your chances?
Okay, this tournament I lose, but this match I have chance. Not 50-50, but I have chance.
So we saw Rockfire a lot lately in this tournament. So everyone on our streams knows that Rockfire is the PvP monster, right? But we didn't see you since a long time, Slycraft. So what do you think of the matchup? How do you feel in PvP?
Okay, I can play my builds. I play versus Arfire playing Stalkers in first, and I can play this build because for me in PvP Stalkers is the best unit.
Okay. We have an English caster who is here, Rashi. Hi Rashi, do you have any question for our two young players here?
I only have one question. Really excited to cover your games. This question will be for both of you. I'll ask Arog Fire the question first. It's a PvP to start off in the playoffs, and PvP is notorious for being very weird and cheesy. Do you think we're gonna see some weird games today in your first semifinal match?
Me? Yeah, I think. But we'll see. But yeah, I think PvP is really cheesy, so.
How do you feel, Slycraft?
3 or more proxy in this match.
Oh, I think as an audience we're gonna be in for a treat. So obviously don't want to give away your strategies here, but we're very excited over on the English stream. Good luck to both of you today.
And I have a question for you guys. I always ask it before the semi-finals, but my question is for both of you. What do you expect the score to be? Rockfire, do you have any forecast for this match?
I will say 3-1.
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Okay. And like Ram?
3-2, 3-1, 3-0. I don't know. It's a PvP.
Yeah, for sure. PvP is pretty weird. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for your this little interview, and we can't wait to see your game. So let's jump into game 1. Good luck, and let's
Thanks.
see this PvP. If it will be as easy as you think it will be, but I expect it will. See you guys.
Goodbye.
Good luck.
But
Thanks.
Alrighty, folks. So that is our interview with our first 2 players today, right here. It's gonna be a PvP to start off. Of course, our players know. They know the cheesiness of PvP. You know the cheesiness of PvP. So we'll have to see what actually comes out in this game. Of course, we have some outstanding sponsors today helping make this possible. Global Clan, Team Exxon, and Daemonum Camo. There we go. Got to get that right because there's a lot there. And we're going to jump right in to map number 1. It's going to be on Death Aura. This is going to be a best of 5. So our best of 5 will have the first player to 3 wins. So keeping that very, very quick. And, you know, with it being a possible proxy versus proxy, we might see some fast games. So hopefully all of you are ready to go. You're buckled in. Get your friends in here. Post the link in your Discords. Let them know that we are getting started with game number 1. And again, it is going to be on Death Aura. So here we go. Let's get into this first match here. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Death Aura. It's our blue Protoss player playing for Blue Flame Esports. Give it up for Sly Crab. And spawning in the top left, our red Protoss player, looking to be the returning champion here in Season 7, playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Rockfire. So, very, very interesting interview that we had there. Of course, both players feeling very, very confident. Both of these players have made it to this point in this tournament previously. Oh my gosh. I just always have to watch the pylon sound. Because I just watched the audio mixer, and anytime like pylons get warped in, I just see the sound spike all the way up. So noisy. But both of these players have made it to this point in the past, in previous seasons. So they both feel very confident about what they can bring to the table. And I think it is a well-deserved confidence that both of these players are playing with. And here we go. This is just what we kind of had expected here. We might be experiencing a little bit of cheesiness. So both of these players are going to be able to get out to the same corner of the map, but what will be interesting is Sly Crab gets a chance to spot this, but immediately, oh boy, a little bit of lag, but now we're going to have to see what's actually going to end up happening here. It is going to be a proxy robotics facility. So now Sly Crab has spotted it, but what do you do with it? He's going to drop a third gateway down back at home as a response to this, which I think is rather interesting. Of course, now Sly Crab has had a chance to see it, and he knows roughly the timing. But not entirely sure here what needs to be done. Okay, I need to take just a moment here and adjust my volume a little bit further because holy cow, it just seems loud. Thank you so much for being patient, folks. All right, that's better. That's better. Now at least I don't feel like I have to yell over top of this. So the good news for Slycrab is Slycrab is able to try and engage on top of this robotics facility with his stalkers, putting some pressure on that pylon, and that is going to force Arogfire to stand here. He's not allowed to reposition out across the map, which does create for a very interesting dynamic, if you will. Slycrab is not going to overextend. He knows that once that Immortal comes out, he does not want to be out across the map. He wants to make sure that he's back at home where he can protect and be safe. Behind this, he is put down a Stargate. As the Phoenix is going to help zone out the Warp Prism, which should give Slycrab a little bit more defensive power. Taking the Warp Prism out of the equation will make this attack a little bit more difficult for Arogfire. At bare minimum, he's not going to be able to be as aggressive as he wants to be. So, second Immortal on the way. Interesting choice for no robotics facility on the part of Slycrab, which is kind of interesting here. But he's going to invest in those Phoenix, trying to dominate the airspace here. And it looks like we're going to get a bit of an engagement. Or are they just going to pass each other? Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, Slycrab. Slycrab's going to have to immediately turn back around. He's caught out already, and that should give Arogfire a whole bunch of indication here. Okay, he saw one of them. Yeah, that Warp Prism's going to have to be very, very careful here. Those Phoenix are immediately going to go after it. And actually, the Stalkers just go ahead and take it down. Two of the Phoenix already fall. One of the Immortals lifted up into the air. It is going to get picked off, but that second Immortal already on the ground here, ready to add to the fight. Those Zealots are going to get chewed up almost immediately, and the ground army of Slycrab is in a bit of a pickle here. Second Warp Prism is being brought into the mix here. More Stalkers being warped in. It is a slow warp in, so those aren't going to move as fast. But it looks like Arogfire may be wanting to try and take a second base out at the third location, which is rather interesting. At least he has a probe there ready to go. So the second Warp Prism is out onto the map. Another Immortal being chronoed out as well. Slycrab wants to try and get on top of two pieces of this army. He wants to take down the Warp Prism, and that Immortal, if lifted, could be a huge amount of damage. But look at this. Slycrab's going to try and move across the map. Is this a full wall off? It is. So not going to be able to get up in there just yet. But Arogfire going to try and engage here. The army values are even, but think about this. There is army out across the map here for Slycrab, so Slycrab actually at a slight disadvantage here. And he's going to lose one of those warp gates here if he's not careful. That Warp Prism providing great coverage. And the Cyber Core. The Cyber Core is going to go down as well. So that means no more Stalkers, no more Sentries, no more Adepts. This is becoming a very, very difficult situation here for Slycrab to deal with. The Warp Prism's going to get picked off, but I don't think Arogfire needs it anymore. He's able to zone out his opponent. All these Stalkers going down very, very quickly. Both of the Immortals do get lifted up, but for what cause? They're not getting picked away at. Absolutely just tactical execution here by Arogfire. Game number 1 going in his favor. GG is called. Whew. Very, very quick maneuvering here in game number 1. And that came all off of being scouted almost immediately by his opponent, Slycrab. So very, very interesting start to our series here. Again, this is a best of 5. So first to 3 wins will take the trophy here. If this is your first time catching the Alpha X Junior Championships, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. These players are all participants that are 15 years or younger and have not achieved 6K MMR in a season. So they're too young to participate in the EPT tour or the DreamHack Masters events. And they're not so far up on the ladder that they are like crazy. So Miguel, one of our, well, actually the host of this and the organizer of this tournament, wanted to provide some opportunity for some of our younger players to get a chance to compete and get a little bit of tournament experience before jumping in to the weekly cups brought to you by ESL. So we're gonna be going to map number 2 here. It's gonna be on Everdream. I found it interesting here. Slycrab suggested that maybe, just maybe, excuse me. Ooh, sorry. My lunch trying to revisit. He suggested maybe, just maybe, he would be able to include himself into the proxiness of this PvP. So we're gonna have to see what he decides to do here in game number 2. But we are gonna jump on in. Our players are already booted up and ready to go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, our blue Protoss player up 1-0 in this best of 5. Playing for Alpha X. Give it up for AROG Fire. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left, our red Protoss player. Looking to get a point in the series. Playing for Blue Flame Esports. Give it up for Slycrab. Now, we are also located on the EU server. This is an EU, well, technically, EU and Asia final. AROG Fire from France and Slycrab from Ukraine. So, all of our games taking place on the European server today. We do have not only our Ukrainian player, but we do have our Russian Protoss Exostriker as well. So we are running a Russian stream today. So if you are interested in that, you can check out Creed, who is providing a Russian cast today, which I think is really, really neat. Okay. Now, Slycrab is getting out here to do a little bit more work in terms of locating information, but I wonder if he's going to drop his own proxy as well. He is on the wrong side of the map if he wants to find this proxy pylon. It is possible he might just dart around, but going right into the back of that third could be the location that he's looking for. Yo, Snap, thanks so much for dropping that Twitch Prime for that 2-month resub. And he says, hype! Oh, feeling sad here all of a sudden. That hype gets me all excited for Summer Games Done Quick 2020, but not happening this year because of the pandemic. Super sad stuff. All right, so both players are getting a good scout off on each other's bases, not seeing anything of major consequence. Slycrab's probe is going to remain alive here for a little bit of time, but I'm wondering if this is not going to end up being a proxy pylon. It's possible here. Probe is still on the map. It still is a force to be reckoned with, but interesting. Slycrab actually just going to jump out to that natural expand. Now, with a proxy robo facility out on the map, this has got to be a scary moment here for Slycrab. He's only now going to see. Oh no, he's not. Oh my goodness, Slycrab. He's looking for it. He's looking desperately for it. He knows that there are units on this side of the map, but when is he gonna find it? Okay, it looks like now he's gonna spot it. He doesn't. Oh no! Look at that. Literally like a pixel away. Literally a pixel away. All right, yeah, okay. Slycrab knows he's already canceled the natural here. Is going to go down for a proxy gateway, so it will be warp-ins across the map, but both players really don't know where the other player is out onto the map. I think Slycrab has an idea. He just hasn't officially confirmed it. But he's going to know more here in just a tiny bit of time here as more sentries and stalkers get added in to this push. I wonder what the timing is going to look like here. Of course, AROG Fire is locked into his own base, so he will be able to be protected from that, but it is Blink on the way. Some great force fields zone out a couple of these stalkers, and in this game of numbers, every stalker counts, and Slycrab already having to use some of his valuable warp-ins to warp in back at home. And this is where Arogfire can thrive if he can continue to pick off units on Slycrab's side of the map. That's less that Slycrab's going to feel comfortable warping in over on Arogfire's side of the map. Now there is a sentry. The warp prism, I believe, did get picked off, so no high ground vision as it sits right now. Slycrab's still desperately looking. He's like, where is this proxy? Where can I engage at? And he's just not finding it right now. So his second warp prism is out and across. High ground vision will be there once again. Blink has been shown. And it's going to be one of the warp gates being picked off almost immediately here. So that is going to be a bit of a difficult gate to play from. But it's a big blink forward here by these Stalkers. Stalker's going to try and get on top of the Immortal. The Immortal being juggled by that dangerously low warp prism here. Arogfire manages to take a really good engagement, continues to have that warp in power, and Slycrab just unable to take advantage of that gateway out across the map. Of course, he can still use it to warp in back here at home. So if Arogfire is clever enough to see that, he should know that that is indeed the case. The probes need to get pulled off of the line. They get a good surround on one of those Stalkers. No blink here for Arogfire, but again, that numbers game comes into play. And all of these Stalkers going to be picked off. One Immortal still available on the map. So many probes getting picked away. All the Stalkers getting cleaned up. And that is going to be it for game number 2 here. Slycrab just does not have the means of putting this back together. GG is called. Arogfire sitting one game away from cleaning up this series. GG, well played. Well, we are living up to the hype here all of a sudden. Arogfire said that he was going to bring the heat, and he actually kind of gave himself a little bit of wiggle room too, as well, saying that he was going to go 3-1 in this series. But sitting 2-0 on match point, you got to be feeling really, really good right now. We are going to be getting ready for our next game. And we are going to also have an opportunity. Maybe we will. Oh yeah, there we go. Just getting some of our great stuff out. We've got some outstanding sponsors that help out with all of these events, and of course you can see their logos down below and in our in-game sponsor banner. So many great people helping make all of the events here at Alpha X possible week in and week out. If you are someone that would like to continue sponsoring some of these events, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to work with you. We've got some outstanding partnerships that we will currently maintain. But of course, we're always looking to expand and broaden our horizons. So feel free to reach out to us. If you're a personal individual and you want to find ways to contribute as well, we of course have a Matcherino. You can see that Matcherino link posted by Nightbot in the chat. Use the code AXJC7 if you want to add 50 cents for free. I'm not sure how many of those codes we have left, so do check that out. It costs you absolutely nothing. Of course, if you'd like to kick in some of your own money, please consider doing so. All of this Matcherino money goes towards our players and being able to give us future seasons of the Junior Championships right here at Alpha X. So thank you for giving that some consideration. We're going to be hopping in here to game number 3. Arogfire on match point. His opponent, spawning in the bottom left of Eternal Empire, needs to pull together something strong. He'd like to continue this best of 5 semifinals match for Blue Flame Esports. Give it up for Slycrab. And spawning into the top right, our red Protoss player, 1 match away from moving on to the grand finals of season 7 of the Junior Championships. Playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Arogfire. Oh my gosh, Sniper. SCCA gifting 5 tier 1 subs in the chat. Thank you so much for that support. That is also another great way that you can support this channel and all that we do here at Alpha X, and that is by your subscription. So if you'd like to be a member of the greatest fan club in StarCraft 2, feel free to look at that subscribe button. But thank you so much, Sniper, for those tier 1 gift subs. Really do appreciate that. All right, so we are in a bit of an interesting spot here once again. Looks like Slycrab's going to try and get out onto the map and go right across to that third base location. Now, last game, that did give him at least a building to put down. He did have that proxy gateway, but we didn't really see him capitalize on it other than being able to have that extra warp in back at home. I think having the potential for a fast proxy pylon is very good for Slycrab if he can get out across the map. But in each of the 2 games here, Arogfire has been the aggressor, and it looks like that's going to continue to be the case here in game number 3. Gonna have to see how it all transpires here as we get set up into our next map. Now, Slycrab is doing his due diligence here. He is trying to scout all around, see if he can find it. And I think this time he is going to locate this. Oh my gosh. I don't even think Arogfire can like plan to have that kind of timing here. It's gonna deny Slycrab the scout once again. Unbelievable. Like, the timing has just been beyond crazy. Okay, Slycrab has gotta be feeling confident here. Okay, so now seeing the Immortal so far out onto the map, that's got to give him the indication that this is where he needs to expect that coming from. But once again, being denied that official vision here. He also doesn't have anything on this pylon right now. So other than the fact that he's getting the supply value off of it, he's not getting much of an aggressive advantage. So once again, Arogfire is going to be the aggressor in this PvP. And it's going to be a very, very quick one once again. So we are going to have that Warp Prism already out. Blink is going to be on the way once again for Slycrab, so he will have that opportunity. Now, Arogfire has found the proxy pylon out across the map. So we're going to have to see if that poses any concern for him in this match. And now we are going to see that that Warp Prism be used to juggle those units back and forth. One of the Stalkers does get picked off for Arogfire, but not a bad situation here. Still finding himself on the supply advantage, 28 to 24. And that probe is just gonna slowly attack that pylon. He knows he's not in any hurry. Even if for some reason that did get warped in on, it's a very slow pylon, so it's going to take about 10 seconds to warp in. But Arogfire's got to be a little more careful here. Slycrab does have a bit more army than he did in game number 1 and 2. He also does have Blink, so very, very important that we watch this carefully. Both worker counts are in similar positions here. Arogfire now able to get that third Immortal here. Now with that third Immortal, he should feel very, very empowered to come up the ramp. He will be able to zone out a little bit more efficiently here. And that is a big pickoff there. Warp Prism is going to get cleaned up. Some very, very good force fields will zone the units off to the right and into the path of that Immortal. So we are going to see another Warp Prism being produced by Arogfire. But now without that high ground vision, Arogfire has to respect that positioning, and he's going to go back. But there are 3 Adepts out across, so we are going to probably see a warp in back at home to help deal with those Adepts. But Adepts do not engage against pylons very efficiently. So they are going to, oh my gosh, that pylon almost going down to that probe. Hilarious stuff. Probe is going to have to run away as those Adepts do move out to try and protect. Now here are the Warp-ins back at home. Well, one of those Warp-ins is going to be rather exposed here. So Slycrab is going to have to be careful not to watch that one too terribly careful, because the aggression here for Arogfire is still around. Okay, Warp Prism able to provide a little bit of that high ground vision. Arog Fire. Oh, and actually, Arog Fire has that observer. I didn't see that observer get out. Oh my gosh, that provides him with so much information. I mean, he can always keep an eye on that. All of the Adepts do get cleaned up back at home. Oh, that was a big blink down to the low ground. And with that blink being used, he is going to have to recall, but it's going to cost him so many Stalkers. Oh, Sly Crab. Sly Crab making a slight calculated error, not respecting the unit count of Arog Fire. Arog Fire is like, no blink, no problem. I can take care of those units for you. And once again, in this game of numbers, Sly Crab falling behind even just a couple of Stalkers makes a huge difference. Arog Fire, of course, using the aggression to his advantage. He is going to get down to that second base in his natural and try and jump ahead even further. Now, Arog Fire, again, still has full vision. He knows exactly what's going on. About the only thing he doesn't see is the Twilight Council, but with Blink already being researched, I don't think that's of much concern to him. Now, that's going to be a cute little counterattack here. Sly Crab gets out with some Stalkers, but still not seeing the proxy here. I think 3 Stalkers engaging on top of the proxy would be a very, very scary position to play from. But right now, he is going to be able to blink on top of these defensive Stalkers back at home. More Stalkers going to have to be warped in. Some probes getting pulled into fight, and Sly Crab doesn't want to overextend there. Now, finally using that proxy pylon as an aggressive pylon. That should force kind of an interesting response here from Arog Fire. Arog Fire still does not have any upgrades. Does not have blink. Is this aggression going to be enough to force Arog Fire back home? It is with just a portion of it. Just one Immortal. I love it. It's a big blink forward. Oh my gosh, I think Sly Crab got jebaited just a little bit, and that is going to force him up into his main base. Oh Lord. This is a big engagement here. Sly Crab's forced out of his base. He kind of takes the bait, and I think he's going to pay for it. I don't know that Sly Crab has what he needs to try and deal with this. So he tries to pull all of the pylon or probes off of the line, but most of them are going to get out. Looks like 8 are going to escape. 4, 8, 9. Did I count that correctly? But now we're in a bit of a base race scenario, and of course, Sly Crab does have that one pylon out across the map, and he does have probes on the way as well, but there's just way more here. And Sly Crab still has not scouted this proxy. He still has not seen it. Even with those probes being pulled. So this is quite the situation here for both of these players. Now, look at that army count, 47 to 32 in a straight up fight. Arog Fire is going to be in a much better position. He's got that Warp Prism. He has those 2 Immortals. In fact, if Arog Fire wanted to, he could still try and get more out, but it doesn't look like he has any minerals to do so. And now we are going to see those Immortals start going to work. Those Stalkers going to be dangerously under fire here. Now, one of the Nexi does go down, but only one barrier popped so far. The Warp Prism having to stay far back here. Needs to juggle those Immortals very, very carefully. Yeah, Sly Crab will be able to blink out. But now Arog Fire has secured his base once again, and there is just no ability for production back at home for Sly Crab. Every unit he loses is just death incarnate. So even though he has blink, I don't think he can outmaneuver his opponent here. That Warp Prism's still alive. That Warp Prism's so valuable. So valuable in this fight. Now, theoretically, Sly Crab can get the perfect micro and the perfect blinks off and start working away at these Stalkers, but I just don't think in the long run it's going to matter. I think Arog Fire is going to be able to clean this up. He does get that proxy pylon, so now all of the buildings of Sly Crab back in his main base. So this is the remainder of what we have here in this series. Arog Fire going to try and close in on this and eliminate the running trap here. Going to wait for him to blink, and that's the blink I think he was waiting for. Oh, Arog Fire is playing this almost perfectly, getting the trap here. Oh, he blinks the wrong way, and that's going to be it. GG is called, and Arog Fire with a quick 3-0 sweep will clean up this first semifinals of Season 7 playoffs. Congratulations to Arog Fire. He's going to be moving on to our finals to play the winner of our next series between Wannabe Beyond and Exo Striker. So we are going to have a TVP. Won't be a mirror matchup, but we could see a mirror matchup finals. Of course, Exo Striker and Arog Fire probably our top 2 players in this bracket. We'll have to see what happens here as we get set and ready to go. So we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will be getting ready for the second semifinals between Wannabe Beyond and Exo Striker. You guys are watching the playoffs of Season 7 of the Alpha X Junior Championships. My name is Rushy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. Sorry about the delay there. I had to handle one thing here in our break. So the good news is we haven't missed anything. We are still going through picks and bans here in our second series. So that does give us a chance to talk about some of our outstanding sponsors here in our tournament. Of course, Nightbot right now doing a great job of showing you all the different links that you can click on. Of course, you can see our bracket where you can check out all of our different players and how they have fared in these seasons. Of course, we're in season 7, so lots of great games have already taken place, and we are in a great place where we can confirm that we are going to probably have a season 8. So very exciting stuff in that regard as well. Please do check out our Matcherino page to use that code AXJC7. It's so easy, folks, to use that page. Of course, you can just connect one of your various social media or Twitch accounts to get logged on and contribute your free 50-cent code. So please do consider that. Check that out. If you would like to support this specific event, the Alpha X Junior Championships does have a Patreon that you can contribute towards as well. So that link also in the chat. But we do have some outstanding sponsors here that we do want to take a time or a chance to thank here. Of course, we do have our sponsor in G Fuel, the official drink of esports, and G Fuel would like you to take a walk down memory lane with their new G Fuel flavor bubblegum. It's their newest mind-blowing concoction made with zero sugar and packed with antioxidants and vitamins. Be transported back in time with this classic taste of childhood while getting the energy and focus you've come to expect from G Fuel products. Check out their sponsor quest on our event page for more info on how to get your hands on G Fuel's nostalgic take on a time-tested favorite. We want to thank G Fuel for all that they do to support Alpha X and StarCraft 2 here in 2020. We're so proud of the partnership that we share with them. And we've got some outstanding new sponsors that I'll take an opportunity to thank a little bit of time. I admittedly realized that, don't have all of the pictures that we need, but recently teaming up with Cremo and Lenovo Gaming. So a couple of new sponsors that are going to be supporting Alpha X into the month of July. So lots to be excited for. We'll get a chance to talk a little bit about them soon, but we are going to be jumping into our second semifinals here, and it is going to be interview time for our next two players, Exo Striker and Wannabe Beyond. So we are going to check and see if they are interested and ready to go. And that should be happening here in just a moment. I thought we might be jumping into an interview, but I guess we're sitting very, very patiently. Just waiting to see what's going to happen here. Okay. Well, we're sitting here in limbo. Let's see. We can talk a little bit about what's on the line here. So right now, all of our players playing today will be walking away with a good chunk of our prize pool money. If you take a look at the bracket, you can see the amount of money that will be coming off. First place is a $50 prize. So a fair amount of money, especially if you're 15 or under. Second place will walk away with $30. And third and fourth place will be walking away with $10 apiece. So some decent prize pool money. Of course, we talked about that Match Reno, and that Patreon helps contribute to that prize pool. So do consider taking a look at that here. But it does look like we are going to be doing an interview with one of our players in Exo Striker. So we should be jumping to that interview here very, very shortly. We'll get a chance to hear from our Russian Protoss player before the beginning of this semifinal match.
And hello, Exo Striker. And well, first of all, how are you doing today for your match against Wanabibian?
Hello. Well, overall, I don't think that I'm in a good shape right now. It's okay, but it's not the best I've ever had, obviously. Although I think I'm ready.
Yeah, you won 2 seasons ago, right? And then you lost in group stage last season. How do you estimate your chances are to take a second trophy today?
They aren't really good. Obviously,
Third trophy, sorry.
I don't feel that I'm good in PvP in the finals, and I don't think that I'm good enough in PvT in the semifinals. So I have some chances, but they're not too good.
Okay. Reshi, do you have any question for our young Russian player here?
Yeah. I mean, you're on the verge of potentially moving into the finals to face AROG Fire, and I know that the two of you have kind of a big rivalry here. Talk to us about how it would feel to be able to take on AROG Fire in the finals if you were able to win against Wanabibian here in the semis.
I think PvP overall is kind of stupid matchup, and PvP versus AROG Fire is even more stupid matchup. So.
Well, how do you feel about your PvT? You're going to be going up against Wanabibian here. I know you said that you feel like you're not in your best form. Do you feel like your play against Terran is good in general?
Yes, I think it's kind of okay, but I can deal with some kind of build orders on ladder and tournaments overall. So it most likely depends on what Wanabibian will play.
Okay, well, I know that we're going to be looking forward to an outstanding match here. So we are excited on the English stream. Good luck to you, Exo Striker.
And I have a question from the French stream here. During the lockdown, did you change your way to practice? Did something change? Did you play more, less, differently? So yeah, did it change something in your way to practice?
Since when?
The lockdown.
Okay. Well, overall, I just have more time, a little bit more time. So I'm trying to play maybe some customs, some ladder, but overall it's the same as in the previous times.
Okay. Okay, well, good luck, Exo Striker, in your PvT against Wanabibian here. And maybe we'll see you against AROG Fire. Yeah, maybe a last question actually. You played a lot against AROG Fire lately in Junior Championship, but also in other tournaments, especially Alpha X tournaments. How do you feel at the moment are your win rate against AROG Fire?
I think I already answered. It's kind of stupid. I'm not actually sure. I think I just don't have good enough build order for games versus him. So it also depends on what he will play and how he will play. Like just like in semifinals.
Yeah, well, he's probably on the stream. So do you have a message for him?
Well, maybe not.
Okay, let's just jump into the game. Exo Striker, good luck against Wanabibian, and maybe in the finals later against AROG Fire.
Thank you.
All right, good luck.
See you.
Alrighty. And we are set with that. We're going to be jumping into our first map here. It looks like map number 1 is going to be Ice and Chrome. So it is going to be a PvT. So a little bit fundamentally different matchup here in the first game of this second semifinals. Going to be a lot less proxying, more than likely. Might see a little bit more normal, well put together macro style games. So we'll have to see what happens here, but we will be able to jump on in to the first game in this series. You fine folks are watching the playoffs here of the Season 7 of the Alpha X Junior Championships. My name is Rushy. Thanks so much for joining me and joining these awesome young players. As we get into our second semifinal, it is going to be Exo Striker versus Wannabe Beyond, a Protoss versus Terran. Another best of 5 to determine who is going to move on to face Arog Fire in our grand finals. You don't want to miss it. Of course, if English is not your primary language, we do have a French stream and a Russian stream as well. Feel free to check out either one of those streams. But of course, I'm super happy that you're here with me on the English cast of this wonderful, wonderful series. There's the music. We are going to jump on in and get started here with map number 1 on Ice and Chrome, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Our yellow Protoss player playing for Team Alpha X. Give it up for Exo Striker. And spawning in the top right, our purple Terran player playing for Team Platoon. Give it up for Wannabe Beyond. So of course Beyond, or Wannabe Beyond, is our Terran player from Belarus. Just when I say that there aren't going to be any proxies. Rushy, the caster curse is real. Yeah, that Terran music just gets me every time. Just hits a certain way, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be double gas coming out of this, but it's only one proxied building out on the map, which is interesting. Probably going to lead us into a bit more of a gas-heavy composition here. Exo Striker is going to see this almost immediately. Looked like he was sending out a probe to maybe take his natural. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I think that's a bit of a risk at this point. He's still posted up like he wants to. This is just going to be a proxy Reaper at this point, but it does look like Wannabe Beyond going to try and get out and proxy another building as well. But this is kind of the way Wannabe Beyond likes to play. He's done this in previous series. It's going to be a Ghost Academy, so that's why we've got the double gas. Okay. So we will see a Reaper come out of this. We probably have a second Reaper as well. Nope, just going to go right into that tech lab. Thought maybe, well, I guess actually that Ghost Academy completes pretty fast. So, oh, very interesting here. Wannabe Beyond gonna try and use the Xel'Naga Tower to spot for the probe, but actually, Exo Striker's gonna be able to see this. He is gonna see the tech lab. Doesn't see the Ghost Academy just yet, but at this point, I mean, you've only got one of two options, right? You're either going to have, very, very good kiting here by Wannabe Beyond. Should be able, I was thinking he should have been able to get out, but not going to be the case. But when you see that tech lab, I mean, there's only one of two options here. You're either going to see Marauders or you're going to see Ghosts. So it will be scouted right now, as this Ghost will be able to pick that off. And now, as Exo Striker, what's the play here? Right now, getting a second gateway going down. I mean, at this point, you really do need something that will provide vision against those ghosts. Those ghosts and their snipes will be very, very effective. Personal cloaking device also going to be done as well. So finding something that will give you vision is important, and he is going to pick up that robotics facility back in behind. So observers will be available. Wannabe Beyond will have to use scans if he wants to get on top of those. But now we will see this begin. And without any vision, I mean, that's going to make this very, very difficult. Now, ghosts do not trade very well against those stalkers. Eventually, that stalker will get cleared up, and this will get shoved back in a way. But these ghosts are going to try and find as many probes as possible right now. 5 already going down. That observer just about done. It is getting chronoed out, so these will get cleaned up here in just a moment. A big scan is going to try and pick off that observer. Will he get it? Oh, no. The shield battery gets overcharged and does avoid getting picked. So that's a big, big situation here for Wannabe Beyond. I mean, he burns a scan. That's a mule that's not going to be able to help him on his side of the map. But behind this, he is just going to pick up a 3rd command center. He's already got his 2nd orbital out, but Exo Striker is now going to try and be the aggressor here and get out. So Exo Striker should be able to get on top of this. He is going to need to bring the observer with, and the observer is already in position. He does scan for it. Will he get it? He does pick that off, but oh, okay, that 2nd ghost is just going to run right into the natural, but is going to be met with a bit of a sticky situation here, as in 2nd observer is already out on the map. So if you want to be Beyond, I mean, what's the play here? So you already do have your 2nd base down. You do have a tank, so you can protect against that. But your tech out on the map is cleared up in its entirety. But Wannabe Beyond not in a terrible position as it sits right now. Does have that third base on the way. Exo Striker is fully saturated on his 2nd, but those worker counts are dead even. Exo Striker with a army composition lead as it sits right now. It's kind of an interesting little position. That Ghost Academy is still out on the map, so if for some reason Wannabe Beyond wanted to get more of those ghosts in his composition, he needs only drop a tech lab and he'll have access to it once again. Find it interesting that Exo Striker didn't take the opportunity to look out on the map a little bit further, and maybe he did scan that way just a little bit. No, really doesn't go any further than the barracks. So that Ghost Academy gonna be allowed to live for right now. As we kind of wind ourselves up into a bit more of a macro-focused game. At 3rd base, almost complete here for Exo Striker. Wannabe Beyond gonna use a scan and find that. We do have a forge on the backside of the main base as well. That'll be used to pick up some upgrades. He's gonna throw down some more gateways, and behind us, I mean, both players just gonna try and transition into a normal looking game. It is going to be a bio composition here for Wannabe Beyond, going to pick up that stim pack upgrade and going to grab +1. And again, keep in mind, he has the option to go into those ghosts at any time, just because that Ghost Academy did not get spotted by Exo Striker. And Exo Striker does have that army lead. It is up 41 to 23 in army supply over his opponent. But honestly, Wannabe Beyond gonna be able to land onto this 3rd base almost immediately and just start taking off, and his economy should explode just a little bit here. We are gonna see, actually, those mules are rather strong. But yeah, once again, we should see that start taking off in Wannabe Beyond's favor. Of course, mules, very, very good in the economic sense. Exo Striker going to try and get a scout off here and see a little bit of what's coming, but he should see really nothing that surprises him. He is going to see that 3rd base, all of the tanks at that 3rd as well. And we're just going to be winding up once again. Some more gateways going down as well. It does look like Wannabe Beyond wants to go into a little bit heavier mech style. He is going to pick up Marauders and getting those concussive shells as well. So this is, and I mean, that's really good against those Stalkers, but look at the Zealot count. Oh my goodness. 12 zealots, 20 zealots, 20 zealots added into this. Wannabe Beyond does have the tanks to deal with this, but is that going to be enough? We're going to find out here as those zealots are going to charge on forward. Those tanks immediately going to get leapt on top of, and that's just so many zealots. Exostriker playing like a Zerg here for the swarm. I mean, for Ire. Swarming for Ire. I mean, who knows? Who even knows how to talk about it at that point? But Exostriker going to get on top of all of these workers. Almost 30 workers going to get picked off here by the end of it. Oh my gosh, that tank on the high ground is going to zone this all back, but Exostriker just leaps on top of his opponent. And with that, I mean, that economic advantage is just going to scream into Exostriker's favor here. Those army counts are rather close, so don't count that out just yet. But yeah, the constant pressure that's going to be happening onto this third base. That third base might actually burn. I think it is going to get floated up to the high ground and immediately be repaired. But don't think that's anything that's going to be a major issue. But look at that. We already have Ghosts back into the mix here. Ghost EMP would be really strong on this army, especially with those Archons to deplete those shields. But I don't know if he's even going to have that opportunity here. Exostriker just going to leap on forward, and this army is going to just siege into the natural. Bio is going to stutter back here just a little bit. One of those does get picked off. Yeah, that's going to be too much. GG is called, and Exostriker taking game number 1 in this series. Yo, Daemonum Camo subscribing for 3 months here at tier 1. Thank you so much for supporting Alpha X. There we go. I was like, my hotkey decided not to go. But thank you so much. 3 kill. Thank you so much for supporting Alpha X and the Alpha X Junior Championships. Can't help but notice that cool little logo right down there. Very, very cool to see one of our main sponsors in the chat. If you're in the chat right now, feel free to talk them up and say thanks for supporting the Alpha X Junior Championships. We really appreciate that continued support here. And Exostriker taking a quick game 1 victory. Well, I wouldn't even say quick. The proxy did slow him down a little bit, but able to get on top of it, get a good scout, and put himself into position for a map number 2 that's going to take place on Everdream. Now, Everdream is a little bit of a smaller map. So, well, I guess in comparison, I shouldn't say it's a small map, but in comparison to Ice and Chrome, less places to hide some of those extra pieces of tech. We're going to have to see what our players decide to do here in game number 2. Oh, have you ever just needed to stretch all the time? Just all the time. A big stretch. Alrighty. We're jumping in. To map number 2 here on Everdream, spawning in the top right-hand corner. Our yellow Protoss playing for Alpha X up 1-0 in this best of 5. Give it up for Exostriker. And spawning in the bottom left, our purple Terran player playing for Team Platoon. Give it up for Wannabe Beyond. Yo, thank you everybody for all of the follows and all of the love so far. Very, very happy to see so many of you participating in this event. Please do consider checking out that Matcherino, !Matcherino in the chat. If you would like to support this event even further than you already are. Well, Wannabe Beyond gonna make his first buildings here in its normal location, and I mean, excuse me, thank you. And Exostriker's gonna come up here and go, aha! Oh, you're just in the normal spot. Okay. So that probe gonna be Captain Jerkhole, trying to pick away at these SCVs. Every little bit makes a big difference here. We are going to see a gateway expand out of Exostriker, so both players appear to be going into an economic focused opening on both accounts. So should be in a good spot in regards to that. Now, it's not impossible for us to see a little bit of cheeky play still here. A lot of these players do value some of those aggressive, non-traditional, we'll call them, strategies. Wannabe Beyond is still very, very well known for dropping units out on the map in very unique places. So we'll have to see what happens with that, as this Reaper is going to get up into the main here. Does already pick off one probe. 2 probes go down, and that's some very good damage and very good scouting here by Wannabe Beyond. He is going to see the robotics facility going down, do a little bit of economic harassment, and has a chance to pick up a 3rd probe. I think he's going to get it. Oh, maybe. Yeah, there he goes. And he was greedy. He was going after a 4th. What a greedy boy. This stalker is just like, get out of here. Cold as the void. I think that's just exactly what all stalkers say. Just all the time. Cold as the void. That Reaper getting 3 kills, more than paying for its value here. And grabbing 150 worth of resources. Pretty good. So we do see a 1-1-1 here for Wannabe Beyond. We are going to see in just a moment what he decided to pick up there. It is going to be a tech lab down on the factory, so we are going to see tanks. More than likely going to be a little bit more biomech, or bio tank, excuse me, into game number 2 here from Wannabe Beyond. That Reaper going to get up in. Oh, that Reaper's not done. That Reaper's tasted blood. It requires more. And they got one more. 4 kills from that Reaper. Very, very well played. So we are going to see Exo Striker move out onto the map here with a Warp Prism. And now Exo Striker has said, all right, you can be aggressive here. So can I. I'm going to bring 7 of my favorites, or 6 of my favorite stalkers and 1 sentry. We're going to get a little bit of work done. What do we have here, though? Does he have Blink? Did I miss Blink? No, there's no Blink. Oh, he's just going to ferry him up with the Warp Prism. Genius. Now, there is 1 tank down in the natural, but that tank is going to be pretty zoned out, all things considered. 2nd tank on the high ground, that should make a bit of a bigger difference here. Big warping of stalkers. It's going to make this very, very difficult to engage on top of. 2 tanks now completely out of position. They are going to try and reposition, but Exo Striker does have the means of being able to get on top of those if they get in too close. Now, they are going to find a nice little wedge here in the center, which will effectively pull this push back. They can effectively cover the entirety of the production. But now more production going to be put down on the backside there. 2 more barracks going to get picked up here. Exo Striker trying to get on top of the economy here. He almost needs to swing around to the top side here, but that bunker full of Marines will make that a little bit difficult to deal with. So now the bio of Wannabe Beyond going to try and zone this out. Meanwhile, back behind this, there is a Twilight Council going down, a possibility that we do see Blink being researched. More than likely, my guess is it is going to be Charge. Because Charge seems like a good follow-up response to this, as Wannabe Beyond is going to be forced into more and more Marine production. Those Adepts going to pick up 6 workers down in the natural expansion. But right now, Exo Striker just going to sit tight. Not going to get anything too crazy here. And yeah, we do see Charge coming down. Charge, again, does seem like the natural follow-up here as more and more bio is going to hit the ground. Exo Striker will want something that will engage well on top of those Marines. And Exo Striker just going to bounce out. He's gotten the damage that he was looking for here. Able to trade out efficiently and effectively here. 11 workers killed so far. So showing Wannabe Beyond how it's done in the worker harassment game. So where does that leave us for our next transition here? It looks like Wannabe Beyond going to grab that combat shield, going to continue getting those upgrades for his bio forces. Exo Striker going to be ready for it. Has charge being chronoed right now, so that will be ready on time. And Exo Striker already out to a third as well, so does have that economic advantage, at least for right now. And again, if you're a Terran player, you don't want to see a Protoss player hang on to an economic advantage for this long. You're going to lose out on the production cycle, and you can see that army graph slowly starts to jump upwards. I was always a picture person in school, so you could tell me, it's like, oh yeah, the army value is 52 to 44, and I'd be like, but teacher, what does that mean? And then my teacher would go, well, bam, Rushy, look at that yellow line. Do you see how the yellow line's higher than the purple line? That's a big deal. And I'd go, oh, that's a big deal. And here's another thing that's a big deal here. It is going to be the third base of Wannabe Beyond getting jumped upon here. Now, the tank count is incredibly high here. I don't know if he has enough to get on top of these tanks. The Zealots are going to try anyways. One tank does go down. The Guardian Shield is strong, but it's not that strong. I don't even think he's going to be able to get a much more than just a generic liftoff. And Wannabe Beyond with a good hold here. Only losing one of those tanks. 2 kills, 1 kill. That back tank, 5 kills. So ground weapons +1 is going to finish up here. We are going to get Psy Storm as well as some Archons added into the mix. So this largely anti-bio army of Exo Striker continuing to take off here. And now we still see that army graph mixed in effectively. Good Scan goes down on the third base, sees that Exo Striker is committed to the long term on this game. Oh, that's cute. 4 Stalkers here to defend against a potential drop. Right now, not of any major consequence. But Exo Striker wants to see this third base go down. It does get half health. Workers get pulled off of the line to deal a little bit of repairing, but immediately back to work. Doesn't want to give up that economic position that he is in right now. The tank's going to try and reposition down a little bit further. Mines getting added in as well. Ooh, that gas, almost gets picked off. What an amazing grab by that Warp Prison. Very, very cool. So Exo Striker not going to overextend here, is going to pull out his 4th base. Wannabe Beyond does a quick scan, sees that his opponent is gone. Behind this, it is going to be a robotics bay. More and more High Templar being added into the mix as well. And these are going to be ones that are used for Storm. So we're not going to see a whole lot more in the term of Archons right now. 4 Immortals on the map as well. And we do finally see Ghosts being officially added into the mix here. Already up to 5 in the army. In advanced EMP will be added into the mix as well. So making that EMP range, or excuse me, radius would be the correct term. A lot more effective. Going to be very, very good against this large army of shield units. All right, big engagement here. First, Psy Storm does go down on top of the units of Exo Striker, or excuse me, the units of Wannabe Beyond. So a lot of this bio already very, very damaged. That run by a Zealot's not effective here. Does get cleaned up. The 1 Archon does go down, so a lot of the anti-bio in the army is getting slowly picked away. These Ghosts going to be added into the mix. There is no personal cloaking just yet, so those cannot dive too far forward. Mine's going to get on top of these Zealots, and all of the Zealots do get picked off here. Wannabe Beyond in a good position tech-wise. The army of Exo Striker much more advanced, but a larger number of units for Wannabe Beyond as more bio continues to stream out across the map here. All of those expensive units of Exo Striker getting picked off here. Wannabe Beyond in a position to win game number 2 and even up this series. Can he do it? A good EMP does go down on top of those Zealots and it makes those a little bit easier to clean up. The Vikings do get landed on top of this to aid in the fight, and Wannabe Beyond has all of his army here. He's got mines. He's got protection for this army. All of those probes do get pulled off of the line. The warp ins of Exo Striker are going to be few and far between. This is going to get cleaned up eventually. Oh, but some good disruptor shots going to clean up those mines. And suddenly, this is a little bit better scenario here for Exo Striker. He's on the verge of holding, but Wannabe Beyond has so much army supply. But where's the rest of his army? It must just be streaming across the map here, because there really isn't a whole lot here. Just a handful of bio and a couple of mines. And those disruptors getting such valuable shots here. But I think ultimately this is just going to be too much. Wannabe Beyond going to scan forward, going to see those zealots incoming. We'll be able to engage on top of those, and that will just be too much. GG is called. And game number 2 going to Wannabe Beyond in a pretty convincing fashion. So well played. All right, so we've got ourselves a series, boys and girls. Very excited to see that. So evened up 1-1 now. It is going to be out to a best of 3 now, essentially. So the next player to win 2 games will move on to face A-Rock Fire in the finals. Will we have another PvP? Or will we have another PvT? We got mirror matchups galore in the Season 7 playoffs here of the Alpha X Junior Championships. Brought to you by Alpha X. Oh. Very, very good matches here so far. Okay, we are going to be going to Pillars of Gold for map number 3. And we've seen a couple of different approaches on the playstyle here for both. Wannabe Beyond showing that he can play a normal standard game and macro his way out of it, but also showing that, you know, maybe we have a little bit of cheeky play to make stuff real interesting here. That's going to move us right into our game number 3 on Pillars of Gold. 1-1 series tied for both of these players. Who's going to jump out and take their first stab at match point? We'll have to find out. Thought we'd be into this game by now, but a little bit of a slow load. It's all good. Ah, there we go. Okay. There we go. Now we'll get jumped in here. Excellent, excellent stuff here. So here we are on map number 3, Pillars of Gold, spawning in the top right. Our yellow Protoss player. Playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Exo Striker. And spawning in the bottom left, our purple Terran player playing for Team Platoon. Give it up for Wannabe Beyond. Our Russian. No. Wannabe Beyond. Where's Wannabe Beyond from? I know the answer to this question, I think. Oh, Belarus. Chat, help me with that. How do I pronounce it? Belarus or Belarus? Or maybe I'm completely messing it up, and it's neither of those. Our Russian Protoss player. That's right. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any major proxy issues here in map number 3. Both players going to go for that economic opening once again and leave us with a normal game. Oh, normal. Of course, as we get ourselves kind of in position here, we can talk about the junior championships as a whole. Because all of these players have seen many, many games in the junior championships here, brought to you by Alpha X. Of course, Arogfire looking to position himself at the top of the rankings against Ghosty. Ghosty actually getting knocked out in this season. Ghosty, one of our season or our top ranked players across all 7 seasons, actually does get knocked out early in this season 7. So Arogfire looking to position himself at the top. And it looks like if he can secure, actually, I think he secured it. So right now he's at 26 points. Ghosty having 31. Second place would award him 6, which would give him 32. First place would award him 10 and give him 36 points. So Arogfire is going to move into first place in the overall standings. Extra Striker going to try and give him a run for his money. Would securely position himself in second place if he's able to move on to the grand finals. Wannabe Beyond in the mix, 5th place right now. Oh my gosh, look at this Reaper. I've been sitting here thinking about all of this Reaper, just talking about these players, and I mean, this Reaper's just going to ham. So I guess I got to talk about the game now, because Extra Striker trying to jump on top of Wannabe Beyond's economy here, but not able to get into the wall. But this Reaper has 7 kills. When will the madness end? And here I was thinking that I would just be able to talk a little bit of stats, but you know, that's my bad. That Reaper is not done just yet. Gonna try and position himself in to get more kills, but those Adepts do come back home, and the Stalkers will be able to help deflect that as well. So it is going to be a Stargate opener. We're gonna have 2 Oracles and a Phoenix, or excuse me, 2 Phoenix and an Oracle. Both of those Cyclones gonna get picked up, kind of an awkward position here. Really nothing to fire at those 2 Cyclones, but mostly just being used to give that Oracle an opportunity. Oracle does pick up 3 worker kills, so Extra Striker trying to bring this back a little bit, but he's gonna bring it back a lot further. I guess, I mean, in terms of leveling out, he's done a fine job. But Wannabe Beyond gonna continue with this battle mech opener. Are gonna have a robotics facility going down back behind for Extra Striker. I did see a forge. Yeah, there's the forge. So +1 ground weapon is gonna be researched as well. 3rd command center on the way, and it does look like it's going to be more bio tank for our purple Terran player. Not expecting his opponent to commit into more of the air units. This Phoenix just going to try and maintain map control at this point. A 3rd Nexus going down, so both players going to get out to that 3rd place. And we are going to see a bit of a transition into a normal-looking series here at this point. So we have a robotics bay back behind. More than likely going to see more of those disruptors. Disruptors are a pretty strong unit against the bio of Wannabe Beyond. We didn't see those disruptors get used to their full value. Instead, it is going to be Colossi. We are going to get extended thermal lance researched as well. So it's going to be both players just positioning themselves further into this game to prepare and wind up Now, Exo Striker does get out to his 3-base economy just a little bit quicker. We should see that on the income graph. And we've seen the games where Exo Striker is able to maintain that economic lead. He usually fares really, really well. This is a fair amount of army here for Wannabe Beyond. Wannabe Beyond does have that army advantage, 54 to 40. Those siege tanks proved instrumental in game number 2. But will the Colossus be a better addition to this army instead of Disruptors? This caster is not sure. Of course, Disruptors do really, really well against tanks, can pop tanks pretty efficiently. But they are a little bit more difficult to maneuver. But I think Exo Striker is going to be getting ready to wind up and hit here. And of course, Wannabe Beyond is also postured and positioning himself, trying to regain a little bit of that income advantage. But Exo Striker is doing a nice job of maintaining. Both players just playing very passively, building up to the full-size army compositions that they want. Ghost Academy going to go down for Wannabe Beyond. Now we start seeing Disruptors. Okay. So going to have a little bit of a mix here. Going to have 3 Colossi and then jump into that Disruptor production. Now, 4th Nexus is on the way. And we are just seeing a super passive game here. Now we will see a Phoenix come in here and get some more information. Seize those Cyclones, but not much further than that. Okay, cute. Cute little side harass. Not allowing Exo Striker to swing around and get into the natural, having those Marines on hand. But once again, it is that worker count. Exo Striker continuing to maintain that economic advantage, getting up to 78 workers. Wannabe Beyond, no slouch either, though. Has 71, is just stacking extra. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All those supply depots went up for some reason. Not sure if that's a bug or a feature, but no 4th base on the way just yet for Wannabe Beyond. Just going straight into that army production. Actually, I think those are trapped. Yeah, these are 2 workers that are trapped. They'd have to be medevaced out. All right, so now we do see Wannabe Beyond starting to move in position. Both players getting out onto the map. At the 10-minute mark here, this should be a bit of a big engagement here. Exo Striker does need to be careful. He does get scanned. And those tanks able to siege up in a very advantageous position. The first Disruptor shot does go down. Doesn't really connect with a whole lot, so Wannabe Beyond will be able to reposition. And it's going to be this 4th base that becomes contested here. Vikings are going to fly forward and try and find those Colossus, but not going to be able to engage the way they want to. They do get some good shots off. One of those Colossi does get damaged really deeply. More Zealots getting added into the mix to try and hold off the front here, trying to create as much buffer as humanly possible. One of those Colossi does go down, but the high ground vision will be enough for Exo Striker to step forward here and get on top of this army. One tank in the back is trying to wail away. All the Colossi do get picked off, but a good chunk of army does go down for Wannabe Beyond as well. He has to back off. He maintains an army advantage, but unable to push in. So Exo Striker holds for now, but that might be the scary part of the engagements here for Exo Striker, is wanting to make sure that he not only trades effectively, but he trades efficiently and comes out ahead. Because he's got that massive income lead. So he'll be able to continue out producing his opponent. Of course, now just getting down to that 4th base, and that's going to be a nice Zealot run by here. Going to pick up 5 of those workers and maybe pick off that turret. Oh, yeah. Manages to grab it at the last second. And we'll be able to get out with 2 of those Zealots. So there's the efficient trades that we're talking about. That's what we need more of in this in this game. So now behind all of this, we did get a Dark Shrine down, and Dark Shrine is going to grab the Blink ability for DTs. We see +3 finish up here for Exo Striker, so those ground units are going to pack a really difficult punch. Ironworkers going down. Oh, DTs got snuck into the fourth base there. Ah, so good use of those DTs already. And how many of them were there? Just two. Just 2 DTs getting into that mineral line. So that is gonna prompt Beyond to get out here. Yeah, 2 of those tanks. This is exactly what I was talking about with those disruptors. Disruptors can get on top of tanks if positioned effectively here, and those will get picked off. So as long as those tanks are clumped up, Wannabe Beyond gonna be in a position where he could lose more. So now more workers going down. Where are those falling at? Okay, it was a DT in the natural. But oh my gosh, look at the worker kills here. 15 worker kills. If Exo Striker can trade efficiently here, he will be able to clean this up. And that's a big chunk of army getting engaged upon by a disruptor here. Zealot's finally getting warped in and brought in on the top side, and Wannabe Beyond is going to have to go back with his tail between his legs. That warp prism getting so much value here. More DT warp-ins happening here, and those DTs now have blinks, so they can be a little bit more versatile getting on top, but there's still no detection here. These DTs are going to get more and more damage done. And on the back side of this, Exo Striker going to swing around on the right-hand side. The army gets pulled out of position, and that's going to be just enough for those Zealots to get on top of that sensor tower. So all of the scanning is going to be taken care of. There's still 4 DTs here. Now finally a scan does go down. Those DTs are going to be able to blink out. 2 of them do get cleaned up, but it does open up Exo Striker once again for an engagement on the right-hand side of the 3rd base location. Now it is a planetary, so that is a better position for Wannabe Beyond to play from. Ooh, Bio getting on top of those disruptors. So many of those disruptors going down. They do kind of stem forward and get as much value out as they possibly can. That was a good trade here for Exos, or for Wannabe Beyond, grabbing how many of those? 7. Woo! I think actually in that moment only grabbing 4, but still a very, very good amount here. But Exo Striker making the absolute most of this, getting so many of those ghosts in all of those shots. More tanks going down, more units getting rocked out, and I think that might be enough here. I think Exo Striker is going to be able to sit on top of this. Workers getting pulled off of the line to help deal more damage, but I don't think this is going to be enough for Wannabe Beyond. I think we are going to move on to a match number 4, and Exo Striker going to sit on match point here. GG is called. And our Protoss player in a strong position to move forward to match point. So it is 2-1 Exo Striker. The winner again moves on to play AROG Fire in the finals. We will either have another TVP or we'll have another PvP. And 2 of our strongest players will play off against each other. But don't count Wannabe Beyond out just yet. Sitting 5th place overall in the standings, is a great contender and could easily bring this back and win 2 games in a row to bring himself to the grand finals. We are going to go to Death Aura for map number 4. Now, I keep hearing Death Aura being talked about by both Terran and Protoss players as a map that maybe not the most exciting to play on. Of course, that in-base main doesn't have a whole lot of space, so building space is at very much a premium. Of course, they are now just experiencing what Zerg players always experience. Of course I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. We are set and ready to go here. We're going to get into map number 4. Exo Striker 1 win away from moving on to face his nemesis AROG Fire in the grand finals. Wannabe Beyond needs 2 wins if he would like to advance. You guys are watching the second semifinals of the Season 7 playoffs, the Alpha X Junior Championships. My name is Rashi. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, catching the English cast of this event. Lots of great players as we get jumped into our 4th map of the series. Here we go. It's going to be on Death Aura. Spawning in the top left. 1 win away. We're moving on to the grand finals. Our yellow Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Exo Striker. And spawning in the top, or the bottom right, excuse me. Our blue Terran player playing for Team Platoon. Give it up for Wannabe Beyond. Now, I wondered if we would see a proxy happen here, but it doesn't look like Wannabe Beyond wants to risk it. He knows that his Protoss opponent will be out scouting. And especially on Death Aura here, where these acceleration zones make it a much quicker scout to get across the map. He doesn't want to immediately risk falling to good scouting information. So instead, just going to build that barracks back at home. And it does look like it's going to be a typical gateway expand for Exo Striker as well. So we are going to boil up into another normal game here. So now, I feel like I have a moment here before that Reaper gets out and across to talk a little bit more about that series. Or just like the Junior Championships in general. So, of course, Wannabe Beyond was our runner-up from Season 6. Looking to hopefully make it into the Grand Finals to try and get some revenge on Arog Fire, who was our first place winner in the previous season. But as we talked about in the... Oh, good pick off here by the Reaper. Going to eliminate some of that scouting. But we talked about this in the Group A with Exo Striker. Exo Striker, anytime Exo Striker has made it to the playoffs in 2020, he's won. So he does have a little bit of momentum on his side in terms of historical win. Oh, this Reaper is not going to be allowed to get the same amount of damage that it did in game number 3. So already a better start for Exo Striker here as he throws down that Twilight Council almost immediately. We're going to have a bunker placed as well. Arog Fire does have a pretty good track record here. Did get second place behind Ghosty in the first season. Had a couple of seasons where did not show up. And then Arog Fire winning, or in Season 4, making it to the semifinals. Season 5, getting into second place. And Season 6, getting into first place. So now looking to try and hold his win advantage here in Season number 7. Exo Striker is going to trade out a little bit of damage here with the Stalker and the Adept. Now, Stalkers versus Hellions. Oh my gosh, that Hellion doesn't hardly stand a chance. You can see how much damage that Stalker received when the Hellion was engaging on top of it. But it is going to be Blink Stalkers here in game number 4. Blink being chronoed out as we speak. We do see a robotics facility more than likely going to be introducing a couple of Immortals, getting that Warp Prism out. It is going to be Cloak Banshee for Wannabe Beyond. So, interesting set of games here. I really like this. I feel like from these two players, we've seen a variety of openings, a variety of unit compositions. Of course, behind this, Wannabe Beyond is going to go into that bio tank. So that's not a big variety change. But I like seeing all of the different play styles here in these players. And there's that Warp Prism going to come out here. Clearing the Hellion off the map is going to be helpful because that will aid in Exo Striker's ability to get across the map rather undetected. Now, Blink is done. Charge is going to be the follow-up ability behind that. But we're going to have to see how he deals with the Cloak Banshee. Because Banshee Cloak just about to finish up here. Exo Striker is going to hit about the same time. So this is going to be really interesting. There is no detection as it sits right now. That Observer just now getting into place. So we're going to have to see what happens here. One of those Banshees actually back at home? Really? Okay, well that actually poses an interesting threat here because there is no detection across the map for Exo Striker. Exo Striker should be able to clean this up back at home eventually. But how is Exo Striker going to deal with this across the map? He's going to pick off that tech lab on the factory. Is that going to be able to burn? Yeah, that will burn out. Wait, he did have an observer? When did that observer get over here? Is there no observer back at home? There is. Oh, I'm so confused. I never saw this observer get across the map. Wild stuff. Okay. Well, that was a great exchange for Exo Striker. Picking off a little bit of stuff here. Yeah, gonna have to get a new attachment there. He's just gonna choose to get it in a reactor. Rotating the barracks onto that tech lab. So more than likely going to see combat shield start being researched as well. But a bit of a quick engagement here now positions both of our players into their transition points. So we are going to see that robotics facility go down. +1 going to be on the way for Exo Striker. Both players getting out to that third base. This is a really nice third base to defend for Terran. Having that high ground to be so close to that mineral line. Tank's going to be super effective there. And now both of these players just going to position themselves accordingly. Also, by the way, thanks so much, everybody. We've got such a great audience today. 93 viewers catching the English cast of the playoffs here. Thanks so much for joining us. Exo Striker right now 1 game away from claiming the second player spot in the grand finals of season 7 here. We're going to see this Warp Prism get a little bit aggressive. There's going to be more Colossi once again getting that extended Thermal Lance. What do we have in the back of this base here? That's going to be mostly mitigated. Yeah, he's got full vision of this little ridge right here. And in fact, he kind of senses that it just might be coming anyways. This Banshee is going to cause more trouble. It will finally get picked off, but not before creating a little bit more damage. That shield battery is going to deflect most of it. So we do have a 4th base on the way for Exo Striker. Ghost Academy already down, researching that EMP. We do have Ghosts and a Concussive Shell on the way as well. So picking up more of that general bio composition once again. Now in game number 3, that didn't work out very well against Exo Striker. Exo Striker was able to mitigate a lot of that damage initially. Scan does go down to see that 4th base being added into the mix. Now Exo Striker going to try and get out onto the map. Doesn't feel confident though. Sees that scan go down on the 4th base and is kind of worried that something might be coming. And in fact, it is. Did he get a scout on that? No, he doesn't. He doesn't necessarily know that that is coming, but he's going to see it here in just a second. And now that army is a little bit out of position, so Wannabe Beyond going to be able to siege. He is going to be able to get those mines down. So this is going to be a difficult engagement for Wannabe Beyond, as Exo Striker is able to jump on top of all of the siege. Oh my goodness, it is going to come at the cost of a base. I think, did Exo Striker just take out his own base? I think he might have. Oh, I would love to know. It would be so fun to see who that kill was attributed to. Ooh, that medevac getting dangerously low, but unable to get picked off. So that was actually a good engagement here by Wannabe Beyond. I think it's okay to trade some of those units for the cost of that Nexus. Yeah, right now, the units lost tab shows that advantage into Wannabe Beyond's favor. Now, he has lost a lot more gas. And it could be debatable where that potentially might sit, but think it's totally fine to trade that out. Anything you can do to slow down your opponent's economy, especially when you're getting your 4th base under fire, is good. All right, so here does come the counter push. Some big EMPs go down on almost all of the army. No shields left on a majority of those units. So Exo Striker gonna have to hold off here. Wannabe Beyond playing in a really, really strong stance here. Now, this is what did him in last game. That Dark Shrine being finished here. Is there a Warp Prism out on the map? Do we have a Warp Prism anywhere? No, no Warp Prism. So it is being made right now. So Wannabe Beyond does have a window to be able to hold that off and deflect that. But it does look like he is going to be the aggressor here. He does have a slight army lead, 114 to 100. Big engagement here. How is Wannabe Beyond going to get on top of this, though? He's trying to bait this big army forward. He is going to be able to get in around back, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late. Some disruptor shots land nasty on top of so many of those ghosts. But this is a good surround here. Ghost's going to be able to get on the backside of the expensive army units of Exo Striker. And Wannabe Beyond, I think he's done it. At bare minimum, he's held this off for right now, but look at how many of those expensive units go down for Exo Striker. Now, there were some DTs that did get into this base and picked up 9 worker kills. So that's not insignificant. DT Blink also going to be added into the mix as well. And how is Wannabe Beyond going to react to this? Okay, he is going to get a missile turret down. He has SimCity'd in such a way that that will at least be more difficult for Exo Striker to get on top of, but Exo Striker does have DT Blink, so it won't be a complete mitigation. Okay, Vikings on the bottom left side, I think trying to look for that Warp Prism. Yeah, there's that Warp Prism right now. It is off and safe, at least for the time being. These Vikings gonna try and find it, though. Not gonna locate it. Not just yet, at least. Ooh, big engagement here off the bio. A good stem forward is gonna try and get on top of these expensive units, and he jumps on top of all of those disruptors. 1 disruptor left, and it gets so much damage done. Oh, those disruptor shots are just so brutal. 16! 16! Oh, that's disgusting damage. 17 workers going down. Exo Striker making those DTs count. How does this look? Yeah, he actually he almost closes that gap. That mineral gap is almost evened out here. Oh, some big EMPs. Both those ghosts going to go down, but look at all of the shields. All the shields are gone from this army. Exo Striker cannot engage right now. He has got to be careful. Those disruptor shots going to continue to be very, very massive, getting a lot of work done. We'll be able to blink forward here if he wants to try and get on top of this army. Good warping of Zealots, but that pylon is going to get picked off. Most of those warpings are not going to happen. Some more disruptor shots going to get on top of this army, and Exo Striker going to try and make the most of this. He is in a position where he could potentially bring this back. Big blink forward, going to get on top of this army. More stalkers being warped in. And Wannabe Beyond's gonna have to back off. And behind this, more DT kills. Where are they happening? Right here in the natural. No detection. 14 kills. Exo Striker constantly able to cause more and more chaos as those big fights are happening. Goodness, those DTs going to try and get more and more work done, but this time it's not going to be as clean because Exo Striker is going to be engaging rather close to this, and he's going to blink right on top. Oh, he's going to pull this army apart here. A big blink forward by these stalkers could be the end of it for Wannabe Beyond. 12 more workers getting killed. That DT holding the base up in the air. Exo Striker is going for the gold here. He wants to get into that grand finals, and he has got to finish it, closing out his opponent if he wants to do it. Those Marauders going to stem backwards, get out of the way. the worker count's incredibly noticeable here. Yeah, look at how Exo Striker has leapt forward. This army graph has been so interesting to watch. Both players trading out rather effectively economically, or excuse me, military-wise. But it's always been those backstabs on those DTs that have made the huge difference for Exo Striker. Exo Striker getting a good disruptor shot off. Wannabe Beyond actually wasn't paying attention to it here. Does get zoned out and away, and Exo Striker does kind of put himself into a good position to get on top of this base. Oh, I absolutely love the bait there, sending some of those units forward to try and bait Wannabe Beyond into those disruptor shots. More DTs being warped in. Where are they being warped in at? It must be back at home. Oh yeah, there it was. Yeah, so those are just gonna run the long way around. Okay, good EMP's gonna get on top of all of those disruptors. Wannabe Beyond gets a great engagement here, but Exo Striker just has so much. He's got more disruptors on the backside of this army. A big stim forward is gonna try and get on top of the forces here. It's gonna be DTs getting into the main base here. He's gonna have to decide how he wants to do this. And these DTs are just gonna get on top of the Ghost production. Good EMP is going to reveal 3 of those, so he does have to get out. But those DTs are Exo Striker's saviors. So much damage, so much economic damage. 58 workers going down. More disruptor shots gonna try and get on top of this Bioforce. Wannabe Beyond is having to constantly stim to stay out of the way of these big shots here. One DT is going to be able to work its way in, and the main army is going to try and get on top of the 4th. It is going to force at least a liftoff for the time being here. It's a big disruptor shot's going to try and get on top. This army is spread very, very thin. Wannabe Beyond on his last limbs here. This is a big gasp of air for Wannabe Beyond, trying to get a little bit of distance, but I don't think it's going to be possible. This DT continuing to deal more and more damage into the natural. More big disruptor shots, and that's all it's going to take. GG is called, and Exo Striker securing his trip to the grand finals. Well played by our yellow Protoss player, keeping himself in the series. Whew. Outstanding stuff here. Well played by both of our players. Unfortunately, Wannabe Beyond going to be eliminated from this bracket, but not doing so quietly, showing us why he was able to make it to the playoffs of Season 7, making some great use of his micro, showing us lots of versatile games, but falling just a little bit short. Will not be able to go on and try and take AROG Fire for a revenge from last season. But it will be Exo Striker and AROG Fire, the champions from the previous 2 seasons, going to be duking it out to see who can claim first place in Season 7. So, with that being said, we are going to take a short break. Before that, I do want to take an opportunity to shout out one of our main sponsors in Manscaped. Their state-of-the-art line of grooming products, which features skin-safe technology, practically eliminates nicks or scratches, and has new easily replaceable blades to ensure you're always getting the perfect shave. Manscaped has other equally innovative grooming products for men, like their anti-chafing deodorant, body wash, and signature cologne, so that you're always feeling clean and smelling great. Make sure to click on Manscaped's sponsor quests in Matcherino and use the code Matcherino at checkout to get 20% off. I'm so glad that they sponsor Alpha X and the Alpha X Junior Championships. So thank you so much for their partnership. As we go to our quick break here, we are going to get ready to fire up our grand finals. It's going to be another PvP. It should be an outstanding one. You won't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. You guys are watching the grand finals of the Alpha X Junior Championships Season 7. My name is Rushy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this. All right, I brought you back a minute early, folks, because we are set and ready to go for our grand finals here. It is going to be a PvP, AROG Fire versus Exo Striker. This will be a best of 7, so this is going to be a big series. No vetoes. We're just going to be jumping on in to Golden Wall for map number 1. So it should be a very interesting series. I know both of these players are rather confident, even if they don't always say it out loud. I think that we will be in for a super treat here in the grand finals of Season 7 of the Alpha X Junior Championships. Let's jump on in, shall we, to our first map here on Golden Wall. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for AROG Fire. And spawning into the bottom left, our yellow Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Exo Striker. Okay. So, we are getting set and in place here for our best of 7. Now, we know that both of these players are very, very capable of the silly types of cheese. And already we are starting to see a little bit of it with AROG Fire here. Going to work on clearing out the mineral patches here on the bottom side of the base. We'll have to see if Exo Striker is able to scout this and see what, in fact, is coming across the map at him. But right now, it is just going to be a blanket scout into the main base. He's going to see that Cyber Core, not going to catch a whole lot else. But if he's paying attention, he should notice, yeah, there he goes. Does see that there is a path open on the bottom side. So the proxy pylon has been scouted. Exo Striker was also looking up top for it as well. So that probe will be able to go back home. Does not need it to continue looking too far. It is going to be a proxy Stargate. So both of our opponents going to choose different paths here in game number 1. Now, Exo Striker did see that a Stargate was on the way. He's going to get canceled, though. Ooh. I like this. Is A-Rog Fire just going to transition into a macro game? Exo Striker's going to find it. Oh, Exo Striker. You madman. You madman with the mad plan. So he's not going to be able to see that the well, we'll call it proxy Stargate was canceled. But he is seeing the transition into normal macro style opening. So that should give an interesting indication to how things are going to transition here in this game. But the Stalker's going to show up here at the natural and cause a little bit of chaos. A-Rog Fire will be able to cancel that. Should not be able to cancel anything else. So this is a great mind game. I mean, he's waiting. He's waiting for the Oracle to come on in. But there is no Oracle. The Stargate was canceled. And A-Rog Fire is gonna tease his opponent a little bit. Now, does he have any vision of this? I don't think he does. So it is just going to be one Phoenix into Scout. Doesn't necessarily know that it's a hallucination. However, hallucinations do take more damage than normal units, so sometimes in a mirror matchup, it's really easy to see those things like, oh, I'm used to how hard that hits. That hit a little bit harder than I'm used to. Should give him the indication that that is, in fact, a hallucination and not going to prompt any major response right now. Behind this, Exo Striker going to pick up his robotics facility. Does start charge as well. Of course, A-Rog Fire is a little bit ahead in that regard. It has a little bit of a worker advantage. Does have a little bit of an army advantage. Yeah, Exo Striker now going to officially confirm. Oh, wait. Your Stargate never finished. You canceled it. You fool! So that does put him in a bit of an awkward position. I think he invested a lot of defense into protecting against what was supposed to be 2 Oracles coming into his main base. But at this point, doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He can focus on the ground army. He's going to throw down 2 gateways to help with his warp-in cycles. Twilight Council going down for A-Rog Fire. He is a little bit behind in the regard of upgrades. Exo Striker does already have Blink. But again, I think Blink was used mostly to prepare himself for mostly used to prevent that airstrike, right? So we're gonna have to see if that Blink's gonna come in to play for Exo Striker as he does move across the map here. What are we going to see from our red Protoss player? He really doesn't have a whole lot here. He does have a couple of Does have a couple of immortals, but that's about it. I mean, Blink's going to be able to get on top of a lot of this, and he is going to blink forward rather aggressively. Some good force fields go down for Arog Fire and do pick off a couple of those stalkers. Meanwhile, behind this, Exo Striker does check for that third base location, doesn't see it down at the bottom. We'll eventually probably find it up there. And that is a big telling difference between these two players. +1 is already completed for Arog Fire. Charge is also done as well. And Exo Striker going to try and wrap around the bottom side here, but that is not a good idea. Those are not going to trade very well against these immortals. So Charge also on the way, +2 as well, is going to try and maintain that upgrade advantage over his opponent. So now if you're Exo Striker, what do? You do have a slight army lead here, but you don't want to engage on top of Immortals over and over again. Arog Fire doing a nice job of spreading himself out, being able to cover multiple avenues all at once. And now it's going to be Arog Fire moving out onto the map. He does have a Warp Prism with 2 Immortals inside. Exo Striker is going to see, oh, you have a third base. That's not good. So Arog Fire has invested into a better economic supply, and he has evened up this army count here as well. So we're going to have to see how Exo Striker decides to engage on top of this. He does come up to his third base. He's split his army up here to try and get a good surround, and he is going to be able to get on top of this. But for how long is the question? Zealots are going to engage on top of each other and swarm forward here, but Arog Fire is able to get onto the high ground here. The high ground vision of Exo Striker is available now with that Observer being able to help out with that. Some very, very good juggling of the Archons and Immortals by this Warp Prism. Will mitigate a little bit of the damage of that Blink, but Exo Striker just has so much more. He is able to get on top of this, 34 to 22, and those army supplies continue to plummet here. Blink being able to get on top of that Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism is going to go down. One Archon is going to fall as well, and he's going to have to recall this out. He only gets the one Archon, though, and Arog Fire does not get the engagement he was hoping for. However, he has invested into his economy on the backside of this. So this is not a devastating situation. Arog Fire was able to trade out efficiently enough to hold Exo Striker's army back at home. So his added economic boost here off of 3 bases should be able to get him into a solid position to be able to remax, quote unquote. But yeah, you can already see it. Already those army supplies have evened out. Exo Striker does hold that army advantage, but look at the worker difference, 57 to 43. That's going to give Arog Fire so much more to play with as he gets ready to go here on this next push. And Exo Striker is going to come across the map once again. Not as many Blink Stalkers this time, only 4, but it's that Immortal count that's much, much higher this time around. So it's going to be 4 Immortals against 2. That's something that Arog Fire is going to have to find a way to deal with. I think as long as he engages appropriately with the Zealots, he should be fine. But we're going to have to see how that goes here. Arog Fire does have a significant high ground advantage once again, but now it is the Warp Prism of Exo Striker that should make that better. Big Warp in on the backside, going to get more and more Zealots into the mix here, but the army count of Exo Striker is just so high. Those Archons trying to get as much work done as possible, able to get on top of those Immortals, at least for a brief amount of time, but the army of Arog Fire just continues to plummet, making it very difficult. Big Blink forward, so many of those Immortals are so low. Exo Striker doing a great job of preserving all of those units, and I think this is going to be all cleaned up. I don't think Arog Fire can survive this. The probe's going to get pulled off of the line. And I think that's going to be all she wrote. GG is called, and Exo Striker taking a game number 1 victory here for our first map of the series. Very, very good position. So I was surprised at the lack of proxy on both players' accounts. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that is, just fine. Should be a good place for us to start, and that is going to take us into map number 2. We're gonna have to see where that goes. I believe it is always loser's pick all the way out. So playing very similarly to our Alpha X Pro Series. And we'll just have to see where this is going to head. So very patiently thinking this one out as we get wound up into our map number 2. We should take an opportunity here, folks. Check out that Matcherino and check out all of the opportunities here that you can contribute into the Junior Championships. Daemonum Camo dropping the $5 contribution and has a message from those of us here at Team Exxon. Thank you so much, Daemonum Camo, for your contribution to our tournament. We so appreciate the support that you're giving, not only as being a sponsor, but also supporting financially as well. So thank you so much for all that you're doing here for Alpha X. If you would like to also contribute, consider typing !Matcherino or clicking on the link in the chat to take a look at that prize pool. All of that prize money goes directly to our players, so we do urge you to consider contributing if you really like this tournament and you really like seeing these young players get their chance to play for awesome prize pool money. We're going to be going to Everdream for our map number 2. Very, very good tournament here. Just a bit of a programming note. Once we get to the end of the grand finals, don't go anywhere. We're going to be doing a live interview with the winner, either Exostriker or Arogfire. So you won't want to miss hearing from our Season 7 champion. Alrighty. It looks like we are set and ready to go. We have our French casters. We have our Russian caster. We have our Rushi caster, casting in English. And now we have click. Click the button. 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 We did it. It was just a delayed magic effect, chat. So hopefully you still believe in my magical abilities here as the tuba man in charge. We are jumping in here to map number 2. It's going to be Everdream. Everdream might provide us with a little bit more proxy shenanigans here. I'd love to see both players go full PvP. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case or not. But let's find out, shall we? Spawning in the bottom left. Our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X, looking to get a point on the board. Give it up for Arogfire. And spawning in the top right, our yellow Protoss player. Up 1-0 in the series. This is Exostriker. All right, so between these two players, 3 first place finishes in various seasons of the Junior Championship. Of course, today we'll make it a 4th for one of them. But it will be interesting to see how this all shapes up in terms of overall rankings. Of course, right now, our number 1 rank goes to Ghosty, who's got 31 points overall in all of our season. He did not make it to the semifinals. Let's see. So he will come out. Actually, where does he come out? I think he gets 1 point this season. But it's going to be between AROG Fire and Exo Striker to see who is going to jump into first place overall. It's going to be the winner of this series. Of course, Exo Striker looking around everywhere for this proxy. Is he going to see that proxy robotics facility? We're going to have to find out. Let's see. If Exo Striker wins, he will jump up to 34 points. If AROG Fire wins, he would jump up to 36 points. So, either way, AROG Fire and Exo Striker will be taking second place. I think it would be... Oh, actually, no. Exo Striker would jump into first if he wins. If he does not win today, he would actually be in third place. He would only get 6 points, and he would be behind Ghosty. AROG Fire will either take second or first. Huh? Let me... get myself up and presented here. Looks like AROG Fire experiencing a little bit of lag. So hopefully that will be short-lived, and we will get ourselves up and running. Yo, everybody, thank you for all the follows today and supporting this tournament. Very, very glad to have all of you as a part of this event. So it does look like we're going to have to remake this game. I think AROG Fire is going to time out. Maybe his computer just stopped working or something strange. But I imagine it's going to result in a remake. So, do we have any information on Season 8? I see it's posted. Ooh, we've got an open qualifier next time. So that's cool. Alrighty. Looks like AROG Fire did have some technical issues, so we will just go ahead and restart the game. That's not a big deal. So thanks for your patience on this one, folks. We're just gonna take a super tiny break. We'll just wait for everything to get put together. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Just letting AROG Fire get booted back up. We'll be right back. All right. Hello. Oh, hello. We are back. We are jumping into our game. Our players are ready to go, and we are set as well. Oh, I have a slightly different layout now. We're technically on a replay, and I have a different overlay. So we are just gonna... we may just have to roll with it for right now. We'll bring that down and away. Oh no, that's not what we needed. Oh shoot. We're close. Okay. But we are back into this series. Thanks so much for being patient, folks. AROG Fire had a brief technical issue, and now we are in a much better place. So we should be good to go. Apologize that my overlay looks just a tiny bit different. We'll get that. Oh, no, stop. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that was difficult. All right, we should be good to go. Please pardon the overlay issues. Those will be fixed by our next game. As we do have our opponents playing a best of 7 here. Exo Striker is up 1-0. As we get ourselves moved in here, the Sword Prism is going to provide that high ground vision, and this is where Exo Striker is going to have to try and be a little more aggressive. AROG Fire shines in this situation, being able to proxy just a little bit more efficiently here. And that does provide us with a little bit more of an aggressive opening here. Robotics Bay going to go down behind for Exo Striker, going to try and get those disruptors out to engage on top of this a little bit more. Some great force fields actually zone out the Immortal here. That's a great pickup. That should give AROG Fire the encouragement here to jump up into the main base. He's going to try and get on top of the warp gates here, choosing not to get too aggressive with those just yet, but it's slowly picking off all of those Stalkers. Those Stalkers go down one by one, and I think that is going to be enough here. I think AROG Fire is going to even this series up. GG, and AROG Fire taking game number 2 in convincing fashion. All right. Woo! Made that exciting. For sure. All right. Thank you so much for your patience, chat. Appreciate that a lot. Ooh. So, we are now evened up 1-1. It is always going to be loser's pick as we move forward here, so Exo Striker is going to have his choice of map for map number 3. We'll have to see where he wants to go. Alrighty. Folks, while we wait for this map number 3 here, let's take an opportunity to talk about one of our newer sponsors in Lenovo. This year, they're committed to supporting online gaming communities and events, and their partnerships with brands like Team Solomid, Apex Legends, and NRG are just the start of this commitment. The new Lenovo Legion gaming community is your place to go for exclusive streams, weekly giveaways, staff access, and more. Right now, Lenovo is doing a weekly giveaway of their Legion gaming accessories. Enter weekly for a chance to win one of their prize bundles, including the Legion K200 keyboard, M500 gaming mouse, and H300 stereo gaming headset. Support us by going to our event page for the Lenovo sponsor quest to get started, and keep heading back to gaming.lenovo.com for more chances to win while learning from the professionals. And we want to thank Lenovo for entering into a partnership here with Alpha X and supporting all things that we do here at Alpha X Esports. So thank you so much, Lenovo, as we jump in to map number 3. It's going to be on Submarine. Will AROG Fire continue to proxy? Or will we see more normal looking game? We'll have to find out. So we are back. Oh, look at the overlay. The overlay looks so nice. Flip that guy around. Let's get into it. Ah, my goodness. So much better. Don't you think? Spawning in the top left of Submarine, our yellow Protoss player. Playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Exostriker. And spawning in the bottom right, our blue Protoss player. Also playing for Alpha X. This is an Alpha X team kill. Ah. Give it up for AROG Fire. So, of course, we'd be remiss to say that there is the possibility of this being more and more of a normal PvP with silly amounts of gateways, buildings built where they shouldn't be built. And you could just say, oh, but rushing. I mean, that's something that just happens in the foreigner scene. Clearly, that's not a legit strat. I would say you are incorrect. We're seeing all sorts of GSL productions where PvPs get incredibly silly, buildings being proxied out onto the map. So don't get any ideas that it's just our younger players with the crazy ideas. No, sir. Now, Exostriker is going to get in here and scout. Exostriker does not want to do PvP shenanigans. He's just not interested. Looks like AROG Fire is going to try once again for his proxy robotics. But will Exostriker be able to find this proxy location? It is possible that he will. Yeah, I think so. Looks like he will be able to spot this one. That pylon going to confirm what type of unit's being brought out first. And it is going to be double stalker for both players. So that'll get canceled. Yes? But the scout does go off on the proxy robotics facility. So both players actually timing out almost identically. So Exostriker's going to be ready this time around. He will have his own immortal. He should have his own, what you call it? Oh, boop. Should have his own warp prism. And I think this should be easily held by Exostriker. But we'll have to see. AROG Fire is a bit insistent when it comes to playing this out. And he is going to get into that robotics bay just a little bit faster here in game number 3. So getting those disruptors out very, very fast will be a bit of a help for our yellow Protoss. But here we go. Once again, AROG Fire going to be able to get engaged here on the front side of this. But Exo Striker's just going to make this aggressive, and he's just going to come out and say, I'll just meet you on the map. I don't need to wait for you to come to me. But instead, finds nothing, heads back. Both players just gonna wind up once again. So interesting stuff here. And here we go once again. Exo Striker is a little bit zoned out of protecting his gateways. Is going to be able to swing around, but it is going to be this disruptor that is the interesting portion of this attack. So the Warp Prism will be able to ferry that back and forth. That will not be something that is too difficult to deal with. A second disruptor is going to be coming as well. Actually, yeah. Second disruptor. And if you're AROG Fire, what do you do? I mean, you can't really engage on top of that. He does have his Warp Prism out onto the map. Both of them do, actually. Looks like Exo Striker going to try and get on top of the pylon here. And could possibly get it done. His main army is going to come out to try and supplement this. And yeah, pylon does get picked off. So no more robotics facility right now for AROG Fire. It's going to throw down a Stargate behind this, but this is getting a little dicey here. AROG Fire going to try and micro over in Exo Striker's base with these Immortals. Immortals should be able, yeah, just to 4-tap those Stalkers. Those Disruptors look mighty juicy, though. And that's it? Really? Okay. GG is called, and Exo Striker has to tap out. I guess I would have thought that AROG Fire would have had to fight a little bit harder for that one, but not the case. Exo Striker just says, you know what? You got it. I'm going to let you take game number 3, and we're just going to head on into map number 4. So just a quick transition there for our two players. We're going to be going to Pillars of Gold next for our map number 4. Sweet water. For these super long, drawn-out casts, we're 2 hours. 2.5 hours into this. So this is a very, very good, very good playoffs here. But of course, you have to stay hydrated. So chat, I encourage you, grab your water bottle, grab your G Fuel. Still waiting for my new shipment to get here. So don't worry. Once I get my G Fuel, you'll be seeing more of it. But water, always a strong contender. But make sure to stay hydrated, friends, as we get in here to map number 4. It's going to be Pillars of Gold. AROG Fire up 2-0. No match point just yet. If AROG Fire is able to clear up this next map, he will put himself on match point. But for now, he is going to have to keep fighting it out. Alrighty. We are jumping on in here to our next map. We are going to start with this player in the top right-hand corner, our blue Protoss, up 2-1 in the series. Looking to bring himself to match point. Playing for Team Alpha X. Give it up for AROG Fire. And spawning in the bottom left, our yellow Protoss, also playing for Alpha X. Needs another win if he wants to even up this series and bring it in to a best of 3. Give it up for Exo Striker. Oh, it's happening! Exo Striker says, I'm done! I'm done playing normal games. So I'm gonna bring the fun to you, AROG Fire. You wanna proxy all the time? I'll show you proxy. cannon. It's gonna be a cannon rush. Let's go. Let's go. So excited right now. Oh, and he... No. Arog Fire, are you just gonna scout this? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. So now Arog Fire doesn't have the information he needs right now. He has no idea what's coming at him. He might see this pylon and go, oh, okay, you're just gonna take a peek at what I have coming. Fine. But in reality, I mean, this is gonna be cannons. Oh, that pylon finishing should be just scary for Arog Fire. And he sees the cannons going down and probes immediately get pulled off of the line. He has got to try and find a way to shut those down. And it is going to be Zealots on the back side of this as well. So Arog Fire is on a bit of a timer here. Now Stalkers are going to pop out. But can Exo Striker get done what he needs to? I think Arog Fire's defended this. I think Exo Striker's done. Yeah, he taps out. GG is called. And Arog Fire says, I can hold this. I got you, fam. Well played. And we're on match point. Oh, Exo Striker trying to get cheesy and cheeky, and Arog Fire says, no. I got that figured out. No big deal. Oh. So of course now this puts us on match point for Arog Fire. He's 1 win away for being able to clean up Season 7 and take first place in the $50 prize pool. Again, $50, not an insignificant amount of money. We are going to be on Eternal Empire. Now, Eternal Empire does have a bit of a situation here for our players to get extra cheesy and aggressive. Lots of places to drop down. Oh, there we go. We had a quick race check to get that sorted out. But now it is going to be match point here for our blue Protoss player. Can he secure a final win in this best of 7? We're going to have to find out here on Eternal Empire. I wish I could set up everything ahead of time. I also wish I didn't have to, like, look at my keyboard. I think you guys probably think I'm just, like, busy staring at myself. Who knows? We'll never know. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Alrighty. On his final tournament life, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire. Needs to win 3 in a row. He wants to claim Season 7 champion. Playing for Alpha X. Make some noise for Exo Striker. And spawning into the bottom left. 1 win away from claiming first place in Season 7. Our blue Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Arog Fire. By the way, thank you everybody for joining me today. So many familiar names and faces stopping by the stream. Thank you so much for not only supporting me, but supporting these 2 fine players as they duke it out here in the grand finals of Season 7 Alpha X Junior Championships. Again, a good opportunity to check out that Matcherino page, help us fulfill our prize pool so we can get all of our players paid and we can secure a season number 8. It would definitely be super fun to share with all of you, but of course we need your help to get that done. But please do consider checking that out. As we do get into game number 5 here, it's going to be a little bit more of a normal game. A-Rog Fire once again. I mean, I have to say, A-Rog Fire only lost his first game because his proxy got scouted. So I think it is going to come down, truthfully, to whether or not Exo Striker can find this proxy and get on top of it. But with the robotics facility already going down, I think it's possible that A-Rog Fire will just try and play this out regardless. But we're going to have to see. Now, the positioning of this proxy is pretty okay. I mean, he's got a pretty good beeline up to the natural. And it is just far enough out of the way that it wouldn't get easily scouted. So there's definitely a little bit of mind games that goes into this. Oh, up there. yeah, it's absolutely right there. Wait, it moved. It blinked. So those stalkers are going to be able to see this moving up here. A-Rog Fire, again, has to be careful not to toss those away. Numbers game. Ooh. Oh, yeah. The Immortal's out. That's going to make that numbers game drastically different. But now we do already see an Immortal out for our yellow Protoss player as well. But once again, we found ourselves in the all too familiar age-old dance. Except this time now, it is dead even. Exo Striker does have his second base on the way as well, so trying to invest economically behind this. Quite the interesting scenario. As we are going to get another sentry out onto the field. The second Immortal should be on the way. Yeah, it is. I was thinking it might have already been done, but not quite. All right. Oh, Stalkers and Immortal. Warp Prism 2. Tale as old as time. Protoss in the right. Warp Prism and Proxy. Whoa! Okay, so Immortals both go down, and so both players are going to immediately lock themselves into a sentry battle here. But it is going to be a big warp-in of Adepts to try and help mitigate some of this damage, but the second Immortal is kind of out of position here for A-Rog Fire, so not as great of a position for him to play from here. Exo Striker does get a rather decent position. So, all right. A-Rog Fire does have a bit of an army advantage here, though. Remember that Exo Striker has invested into the base on the bottom. But it's going to be those shield batteries. Those are kind of the most important part of that. Picking off some stalkers right there. Another Immortal gets added into the mix here. Where are we at? Looks like Exo Striker is behind on his Immortal count. So that is worth noting. Oh, was trying to get him to bait the pylon block. So that way the Immortals would just have to reign supreme from the top. But not going to be the case here. It does look like those Immortals are going to try and get on top of that pylon. Those are the only two warp gates here. If he kills those off, I mean, that's all of his warping power gone. So that is a big moment here for A-Rog Fire, and he's already burnt through his battery overcharge. So A-Rog Fire has a moment here. He's able to keep pressure here and eliminate more of those warp-ins. But he's got to stay on top of this. So every unit of Exo Striker now, super valuable. Every Stalker that falls cannot be replaced for another 15 seconds. This is a big engagement here. Can A-Rog Fire do it? Can he stay on top of this and become the Season 7 champion? Another warp in here. Gonna grab some more Adepts, provide a little bit more advantage here. Probes getting pulled off of the line here. 6 of those probes do go down. 3 Immortals badly wounded, but still in the fight. One of those immortals does go down. Arog Fire, I think, is going to have to back off here. But now only one of those gets powered. Oh, that's wild. Arog Fire is dancing on a thread here, but 3 immortals, I think. Oh, there are still 3 immortals for Arog Fire. What was I looking at? Oh, those immortals are so damaged now. Yeah, and these shield batteries are never going to be able to see the light of day once again. Only one gateway getting repowered. That's so devastating for Exo Striker, not building that far enough down. And I think we are going to be seeing the beginning of the end here. More Stalkers getting picked off here. Again, only one gateway being able to be used right now for Exo Striker, and he just does not have the resources to build a second pylon. He's already had to replace the pylon down in the natural multiple times, and he just doesn't have the resources to get it done. So now Arog Fire is going to try and force Exo Striker into making some quick choices here, picking off those pylons, forcing more units up and away from the natural. And it's going to be Arog Fire jumping in here. That one immortal dangerously low. Some good force fields going to be able to get on top of this, but the Warp Prism is going to be able to hold that back, and those sentries do have to back off. They don't have the means of staying in this. Another immortal coming across here. Exo Striker maintaining a solid supply lead, but Arog Fire has the slight army advantage. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! We're getting more slowdown here. Oh gosh. Nope, it's not us. Okay, it was just one. Oh. I mean, we are riding a razor thin line here. So both of these players just playing so carefully on the line. Now, Exo Striker, again, does have the economic advantage. He is up in workers. He finally had enough resources to get that pylon down. But now the robotics facility is depowered, so no more immortals for a while. So if he can sit here and pick off immortals, that would be huge. Oh my gosh, look at all of this damage. Oh, look at this! Look at this! What's happening right now? One of the immortals of Arog Fire does get picked off. I think Exo Striker is going to get this. I think he is going to be able to clean this up and secure a victory here. But those Stalkers going to add in some extra. Both of those get picked off. The Warp Prism gets picked away. There's nothing left here. So now Arog Fire is going to be able to pick up and maneuver this around. Whoa, that's a huge play. So now the shield batteries are going to get forced. What a great force field! Oh, Arog Fire on the verge of losing this, and with the clutch force fields. Oh, what an engagement here. All of these units are going to be dangerously low. There is one Warp Prism back in the mix here for Exo Striker, but the supply is not there. 18 workers goes down. Congratulations called. And Arog Fire securing the back-to-back wins in Season 7. Congratulations. There was a moment. There was a moment that I counted Arog Fire out of that match, and that was silly of me to do. Congratulations to Arog Fire as he secures those back-to-back Season 6 and Season 7 championship victories. We're going to get to an interview with him in just a moment. But wow, congratulations. Well played. Imagine what we're going to see when Arog Fire is able to play in EPL Cups. How cool will that be to see? We might even ask him about it as we get ready for this interview. Whew. Wow, 4-1 victory. Well played. Alrighty, looks like we're gonna jump in. Let's catch up with Miguel.
And we have Arog Fire with us here First of all, congrats. I think with you and Yakov, you're basically the only player. You guys are the two only players who have succeeded to win 2 seasons in a row. What do you feel right now?
I'm pretty happy because I didn't think to win this game. Like yeah, if he didn't play bad at the end, I think I lost because he has too much economies and it was really hard. So I didn't wait me to win this game. So I'm pretty happy.
Okay. You lost really few amount of game. I mean, you lost 1 game to Exo Striker, you lost 0 to Slycrab, and it was also really impressive in your group stage. Who is the player right now who scare you the most in this tournament?
I will say Exo Striker. Still.
Okay.
Exo Striker still, yeah. Even if I win him.
Okay. Well, I let Reshi ask first question if he has some, and then we'll see if the other casters have also questions. Reshi, do you have any question for Rockfire?
Yes, I do. Talk to us about that last game, Arog Fire. I will admit, I had you written out at one point because Exo Striker jumps up in supply, he gets that second base secured, and the insane Warp Prism Micro brings you back into the game. Talk to us about what you were thinking in that last game.
Yeah, I thought at the end it was every time really close. Like every time I was at like 1 shot to kill all these immortals and win the game, but every time he micro well and you managed to don't die, as whereas it was really hard to not die. So, but in the end, it was the moment where he failed. I think it's yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see if he had played like he did like all the game long. I think I would have lost.
Well, and you definitely not only pushed yourself to your limit, but I mean you pushed your opponent to your limit as well. Both of you just showing an amazing series,
Yeah.
with great play. So a big congratulations not only to you but to your opponent Exo Striker, who definitely made you work for those wins. I have one last question for you because we are starting to get to a point where, I mean, we've got to be thinking about you participating in some of the bigger cups here. Of course, we're so excited to have you participate in the junior championships, but are you starting to think about some of those bigger events, participating in the EPL cups? I think you still have a couple of years left. Is that right?
Yeah, I have 3 years left. 3 total years.
All right.
It's in a long time.
Well, I know that we're going to be really excited to follow you in those tournaments as well, but give us your thoughts also, and this will be my last question, Miguel. You're a back-to-back champion, winning Season 6 and Season 7. Talk to us about the work that you've put in to your play style to bring you to this moment.
I have trained a lot all my matchups, so yeah. Don't know really how to respond at this question.
That's okay. We're very proud of you though at Alpha X here though. Congratulations to you, Arog Fire.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have some other questions for you, Rockfire. Well, let's not combat on your proxy robots, right? Because
Yeah.
it's just a micro fight and you just won them all. 3 against Lycrab, a lot also against Exo Striker. I want to come on this first game because I didn't understand anything to what happened
Yeah, I
on
played-
Golden Wall.
I
here.
was
Can you
totally.
explain what happened here?
Firstly, I was like, oh no, it's Golden One. I can't I can't do proxy robo because there is a ramp on the second base.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I cannot go to the first base with my prism because it was really far away. So I was like, I'm going to do proxy Stargate, and I saw the map. So I say, I'm going to mine the mini walls, and I'm going to hit my Stargates here. But as it was really my first time that I do that because I have veto on my ladder. I have veto golden wall. So it has been a while that I didn't play on it. So I was like, I don't know what to do, and I try to do a proxy target at the mineral map mineral spot. I mean I don't know how to say that, but I tried to put my target in, but the minerals were
Stay close to your microphone, Rockfire.
okay, sorry. But the minerals were a bit too far away, so I didn't have time to put the pylon, so I get supplied.
Okay.
And after I forgot my
Warp gate?
yeah, warp gate. Forgot it.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question. So your PvP is
Yeah.
really impressive, and especially because of these awful build order for us casters, right? Because it's a bit always the same for us. We just
Yeah.
see a micro fight, and at the end we don't understand anything, but at the end one win, and it's the end, right? But in your opinion, what is the best defense against Proxy Roro, right? Do you think you can, for example, take a second base like Exo did in the last game? Do you think the Disruptor is a good choice, or do you think it's better to go Stargate?
I think taking a second base is good, but you need to do Robo really fast. So you can have Prism, and it's not a problem if you macro well to defend my how say that? I mean when I go between the second base and the first base with my Prism. If he has a Prism, he can counter that, so it is even. I mean he can win, but yeah. And there is
Stay close
also-
to your microphone again, Rockfire.
Sorry. I think Proxy Stargate is good also, like a Proxy Stargate with 2 workers.
Mhm.
And I think Stargate at home and doing Phoenixes is bad.
Mhm.
But I don't think there is a lot of counter to this build.
And what do you think of Slackwap choice to counter with Blink Stalkers?
I don't. I think it's a bad defense, to be honest. But I saw Whale do that, and when he do that, he always win me. But I think I'm a red when I play him, but he's better than me, so.
Okay. I had a question for Exo Striker on the interview sooner today, and it was interesting, so I want to ask it to you too. I want to ask you some question about your way to train, right? Because obviously it works well as you improved really fast and now are one of the strongest junior championship players. So I'm wondering, how do you practice during the
Yeah.
day? And did the lockdown change something to your practice session and the way you train?
Oh, a bit, but not that much. I feel like. But yeah, I couldn't play that much. I will say like 1 hour, 1 hour of 1 hour. Madness. I will say than usually.
Mhm.
But it was parents, but a bit. But I could play not that much.
Okay. Fireplay, do you have any question for Rockfire?
No, because you stole my question, so no.
Poor Fireplay. Okay, Creed, do you have any question or Russian caster today?
Not really. Like, all I want to say, like, congratulations was impressive. Like, your
Thanks.
market is pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, gonna see you on the big tournaments. Maybe we're gonna play to each other. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see how it will work versus the big players. So it was pretty impressive. I learned a lot today. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, do you have a last word for your fans, Rockfire, before we stop this stream?
Thanks a lot for the support, and it's there. Thanks.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow your Rockfire stream,
Yeah,
right? Because you're
I
streaming
stream.
now.
I stream sometimes. Yeah.
So yeah,
I stream,
Rockfire,
one
A
time.
double R O
Yeah.
G F I R E E. So Rockfire. That's basically
Yeah.
your
My
Twitch tag, right?
yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I stream I stream usually 1 time per day, like 2 hours most of the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, I stream a bit.
Okay, great. Thanks for this interview. Congrats, and well, we will see you next week. No, not next week. Next month. Actually, in like 2 weeks or something. We will see you, and Exo Striker will be here. Probably he will want to beat you this time.
Yeah.
And Ghosty will be there, and a lot of people will be there, but Abibian obviously. So can't wait to see this. On the meantime, enjoy your win. Congrats.
Thanks. Okay.
Take care. Congrats.
Bye.
Alrighty, folks. And with that, that is going to be the end of our stream. So you just heard from our winner, Arog Fire, the Season 7 champion of the Alpha X Junior Championships. Thanks so much to everybody for watching and participating in today's event. Of course, please do check out the chat. We still have some codes that can be used. Exclamation point Matcherino will allow you to get out to our Matcherino. Of course, if you would like to contribute further, you are always more than welcome to do so. We love seeing all of the support go down as often as we can. So if you are able to help support these events, please do. Please do give those a shout out, and we thank you for supporting StarCraft 2 here in 2020 as well. But as for now, that is going to be it for me. My name is Rushy. If you'd like to catch more of my content, you can find me at twitter.com/RushySC. You can also catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/RushySC. I'm a Diamond 1 Zerg. We're working towards Masters 3 right now, trying to get all sorts of growth done here in the summer, because I'm a band teacher by trade. So love sharing my passion for StarCraft 2 with all of you. And I want to thank all of you for coming again. Make sure to follow here, twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. All sorts of great content. Big shout out to our sponsors and everybody who tuned in today. And with that, I will say so long, farewell, and look forward to seeing you in our next matchup right here on twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. Take care, everyone.